Hi everyone, welcome to Land and Sea. I'm Jane Adey. Today we're taking you back 30 years to Mary's Harbour, Labrador. The crab fishery was thriving, but there was some concern about just how long that fishery would last. Doug Leto put this story together back in 1995.
Okay, Dad.
It's a rainy mid-July afternoon in Mary's Harbour, Labrador. The Shandy Pauline is on her way to one of the most lucrative fisheries on the go, the snow crab fishery off southern Labrador. It's just after noon when we leave Mary's Harbour behind. In 13 hours, we'll be 110 miles out into the Labrador Sea. The skipper is Aubrey Russell. Russell began fishing crab in the mid-80s when the cod fishery started going bad.
There's a very good fishery too, you know. There's the kind of a fishery that if you got your gear in the water for 2 weeks, if the weather is bad, well, you goes back, you halt, the fish is still good, you know. It's not like if you had a gill in it, the fish gets eat up and that, you know.
Kind of back a little miss, Shandy Pauline, Capior.
The only contact with the outside world on this trip will be an occasional call to other fishermen. The trip out can be pretty routine, but there are constant reminders that these waters must be navigated with care. Ship's rules: 2 people on watch at all times. 1-hour watches that make sure no one falls asleep. Right on schedule at 2 in the morning, we're on the fog-covered fishing grounds. This is the first pot in a set of 60. The crew will haul 13 sets before they head for home. That's about 800 pots.
Welcome back. You're watching an archival land and sea show from 30 years ago, all about the crab fishery in Mary's Harbour, Labrador.
Around 5 in the morning, we see the first tinges of daybreak out here on the Labrador Sea. The fog of a few hours ago has disappeared. With the weather cooperating, the crew is hoping for a good haul. This is the first season they've fished this far out at sea. Aubrey concedes it's a bit of an experiment.
This is the second trip now this far. The trip we had before was the first one. We're out roughly about 110 miles right now from Cape St. Louis.
Now it seems to me
a layman that you're getting quite a few crab here. Are you pleased with it at all?
Yeah, we have got more crab in other places, you know, first starting in a new area. It is a new area for us. I don't think this has been fished before. I don't think it has. As there do be more crab in most places, first haul, you know.
Teamwork is pretty important out here.
So everybody gotta know what his work is, and they got to work together, help each other to make it go good, you know. Once you're organized, you know, it makes it that much easier.
It's kind of like the family firm, I guess, is it?
Yeah.
These are cousins and sons.
Like Archie Bunker said, it's all in the family. Yeah, I got two of my own boys on there now, and sisters, young fellas, there's two of them there, and a cousin of mine. So it is sort of a family thing, I guess.
And it's the family that Aubrey is looking to take over the business when he retires in a few years. Alistair is the oldest. He and Wade have been their father's fishing partners since they were boys.
When I finished high school, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do for a living. Dad was a fisherman, so we always fished with Dad when we was younger. Then he got involved in the crab and started making pretty good money, seemed like a pretty good living, so we decided to stay at it for a while.
Wade just finished a program in marine navigation at the Marine Institute in St. John's. He met lots of people there who may never get back into the industry.
A lot of the guys that went to school that were doing stuff that was involved in the fishery, a lot of them gone back to school now and they're doing, you know, they're training outside the fishery now, right?
I think we're very lucky. A lot of people, like you say, who've got boats like this haven't got anything to do, but I think we're really lucky because we got a fishery that keeps us going pretty well all summer, right? Pretty well full time. So.
With catches good and prices 5 times what they were a couple of years ago, more people want into the fishery. But there's opposition to increasing the quota.
I'd almost rather see the quota stay the way it is, because one of these years when, you know, they're going to wait until the stocks get deteriorated before they lower the quota, and it's going to be too late. You know, you probably wouldn't even catch the quota then anyway, right?
Yeah, it seems like they're always increasing quota, but still every year we're finding crab harder to find, like find it more scarce, so I don't know, I don't think there should be any more quota increases for a while yet until they're really sure what's going on. There's only a new fishery and they're still increasing quota and they're not really sure what kind of bodies of crab is around, so I think you should hold off now for a while at least.
The crew members might consider themselves fortunate, but they don't want to be taken for granted. That was obvious before they left on this trip, when a problem developed over price. A buyer a few miles away was paying 20 cents a pound more for crab than the buyer at Mary's Harbour. A price difference like that can cost a crew tens of thousands of dollars over a season. But it all ended happily. They eventually got paid the $1.70 a pound they were looking for.
We'd like to ship our crab in the community, you know, and we've been doing that all along. We've been losing a bit of money over it, you know, just by shipping in the community. I suppose a fella can't afford to take a loss very long, you know. You'd like to see the prices competitive, you know.
But you have to live in Mary's Harbour, and I guess that's where the difficulty comes in.
Yeah, that's right. There's everything to look at, you know. I suppose everybody got to live, you know. If we all takes our crab, goes across the streets, there's going to be probably 100 people with no money coming in at all, you know. Out on the Labrador Sea, a spectacular day has become a spectacular evening. This fishery means a lot to Mary's Harbour and other nearby communities. We'll have that part of the story when we come back.
Welcome back. You're watching a Land and Sea archival show from 30 years ago, all about the crab fishery in Mary's Harbour, Labrador.
The sea is still one of the main ways in and out of Mary's Harbour. The other way is by air. But unlike many other small fishing communities, few people have been leaving Mary's Harbour. It's a place where the salmon still run strong in the St. Mary's River. Just a few minutes from their homes, people can get some of the best salmon fishing in Labrador. And young people have been showing the ultimate act of faith in this community of 500. There are about 20 homes under construction. Jeanette Russell stayed. Her husband fishes crab, and she helps run the family store.
Here in Mary's Harbour, we haven't really been struck that hard by the crab moratorium. You have a few fishermen here that are affected, but the majority of the people left the cod fishery when it started getting bad because they could do better at the crab plant. We don't have, in recent years, a lot of people that are leaving because things are good here right now. There's something worth staying here for. And as long as that stays good, I mean, you know, you're going to hang on to what you can get right now.
This is the crab plant, the center of economic activity in Mary's Harbour. Practically anyone who wants work here has it. The plant is operated by the Labrador Fishermen's Union Shrimp Company. By the time the season ended in October, the plant had shipped several 100,000 pounds of meat. Their main customer, the Red Lobster restaurant chain from the United States. And the plant had reached another local standard of success for a seasonal operation. Everyone here qualified for unemployment insurance. In another part of Mary's Harbour, another key part of the Russell enterprise is at work. Pauline Russell is Aubrey's wife. She anchors down the land operations.
When they're in, I cook the meals for them to eat when they're home. And the days they're out, I does the same thing. But when I gets it done, I'll freeze it for them for when they goes out and boat again, right?
You're also the bookkeeper.
Yeah, I takes care of the books, yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, whenever he got his own boat, get the Shandy Pauline and all that, there was a bit more bookwork involved where he had to make payments to the bank and different things. So I started that. But this year we set up our own company. We got it called Russell's Fisheries. We set it up in April. And there's a bit more bookwork to it now because you get to have everything done just so, you know, for the auditors and whatever.
Aubrey Russell and his crew are on their way back in. We're still several hours out from Mary's Harbour. Most of the crew are in their bunks. They need the sleep after 23 hours straight on their feet. The crew made 28 trips this year, a couple more than last year. The sea breezes have given way to near calm as we approach Mary's Harbour. The trip has taken just under 48 hours.
But it was an excellent trip. The weather was nice. We did very good with the crab this time. This is our best trip so far yet.
This fishery is really one of the few things that's happening in the Labrador
That's
fishery
right.
and even in the Newfoundland fishery.
Yeah, that's about the only thing. That clear of a few scallop now. Only the crab fishery. And I think if that's not managed right, that might not be around for very long either.
1994 turned out to be a good year for the crew. And if crab stocks hold up, this year could be even better. That's because key competitors in Alaska have had their quotas slashed. And some market sources say that could push prices here to $3 a pound. That's nearly double what fishermen got last year. But Aubrey's concern about the state of crab stocks is one a number of people here express. With both her family and business income depending on a healthy crab fishery, Jeanette Russell wonders and worries about the stocks.
You hear the cod stocks are gone. You hear turbot fishermen talking now about, well, the turbot's not there like it was. The capelon's not there like it was. So make you wonder, is this just a product of overfishing, or is there something wrong in the food chain, and what's going wrong? Is something going to happen here one of these days? And it's, you know, some people might call me pessimistic, but, you know, I call myself realistic. You got to look at the big picture. What's going to be there in a few years' time? You know, you got to worry about it. I'm optimistic for the future, but I really like to push that, you know, take care of it while it's there. Don't just go out and plunder it all away and wonder one day, like, well, what happened to it? So, you know, take care of the stock, keep an eye on the stocks and this sort of thing, right? I mean, like where my husband is a crab fisherman, I mean, I have a stake in that as well. You know, our living comes from that. So, you know, I really want to see it taken care of, right?
Everything on this part of the coast depends on the sea. The mere mention of concerns about crab stocks worries people.
I listened to them talking and discussing it, the fishermen amongst themselves, and to be truthful, I says in there probably another perhaps 3 or 4 years, and I think that's about it for this fishery. Unless it's took care of, you know, and fisheries takes care of it a bit better than they have been. I don't think it's going to last another real long time.
Federal Fisheries is warning there's some indication of a general decline in crab stocks. As far as Labrador goes, it says stocks are in good shape off Cartwright. But Fisheries says the decline may already have started in other parts of Labrador. If that's so, will quotas be reduced this year? Fisheries says that question will be answered in March when they reveal this year's crab management plan. There will be one development that's bound to hurt plant workers. The plant here and the one in Cartwright will do more crab sections next year, less meat. The sections are geared toward the Japanese market, where they pay top dollar for the product. That move will put more money in fishermen's pockets, but it will mean less processing at the plant, and that's sure to reduce the hours plant workers get. Lots of people have caught on to the idea that with prices high, the crab fishery is a good thing right now. Federal Fisheries says it's being pressured to issue new licenses, especially to small boat owners. People on this part of the coast hope lessons have been learned from the failure of the cod fishery, that the stocks have to be taken care of, not taken for granted, if places like Mary's Harbour are to survive.
That was a show from 1995, all about the crab fishery in Mary's Harbour, Labrador. Now, you saw the fish plant in Mary's Harbour in that show, and there have been new additions to the fish processing capacity in Mary's Harbour in recent years. I spoke with Gilbert Lindstedt, who is the CEO of the Labrador Fishermen's Union Shrimp Company. And Gilbert tells me that a decade ago, the company invested $10 to $12 million in a brand new crab plant. And there are some 70 people employed at that plant today. And about 4 years ago, the company built a state-of-the-art cod processing plant in the community at a cost of some $10 million. It was built in consultation with the fishery leaders in Iceland. And that plant processes fresh and salt cod. So the fishery's still a success story in Mary's Harbour, Labrador. We hope you enjoyed that look back at an archival land and sea. We'll see you again next time.